Directed by Andrea Catanella and written by Harry Boxley, we are talking Hook. And no, this is not a remake of the Robin Williams movie, and it's actually a kind of take on the Peter Pan mythos, of course now in the public domain. I should point out this isn't even the only Hook-based movie coming out in 2025. Now, the story focuses on effectively Wendy, now who is grown up as a woman. She is married to Peter and they have an 18-year-old daughter called Lily. But the real father of Lily is actually Hook, James Hook, as he's known. And but the daughter doesn't know this at the beginning of the movie, neither does Hook. And Hook escapes from prison after murdering people 18 years ago and kind of wants revenge and tracks down Lily at a kind of birthday bash where she's having it with her kind of friends out in the kind of the woods somewhere. What'll happen? You have to watch the movie and find out. So, is this going to hook you up, or is this going to make you sling your hook? I know you come here for all the puns. Okay, so this is a movie like a lot of other ones that we see coming out of the UK, primarily distributed by ITN Distribution, it has to be said. A lot of these are coming out, you know, these takes on public domain properties. We've got the kind of the main sort of mainline ones, I guess, the kind of the Pooh-verse ones, but there's plenty of other ones. And the director here has actually done a couple of kind of public domain movies before, as has the writer. Now, what can we say that works in this movie? It's actually reasonably well shot, to be fair. It's actually shot by Charlie Steeds, an accomplished B-movie film director himself, and I like a lot of Charlie Steeds stuff, to be fair. So it's reasonably kind of well put together on a kind of a technical level. Obviously, it's a very low budget movie, but you know, I can't say that it's badly kind of put together in that respect. You know, it's all sort of relatively well shot. The cinematography is all pretty good. The kind of lighting, all things that there's on a technical element, they're proficient at the very least. So there is that. If you have seen the Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare, it's in a way similar to that, which was also another kind of take from this kind of source material. So they're somewhat similar in the fact that this is kind of real world Peter Pan. There's not really like magic on or anything like this, especially in this one. There was a hint of it in the Neverland Nightmare thing, but here Hook is just a kind of crazed, drug-addled murderer. Wendy and Peter Pan are just some people, and that's basically everything else is just kind of like has the names of everything. So it's really very little to do with actually the story of Peter Pan, Hook, or anyone else involved in that, really. So there it is. But it does try to be somewhat sort of realistic, and it's kind of quite fun to see Peter Pan and Wendy as a kind of middle-aged couple in suburbia. That sort of did amuse me, I have to say, if I'm honest. This is very much like the Scott Jeffrey school of filmmaking. It's a group of girls being chased around a house in the surrounding areas by a killer. We get the obligatory hot tub scene, a bit of lesbian kissing and all that. It's very much business as usual. So if you like those sorts of movies, then more of the same. That's pretty much the best I can say. The acting is mixed. I did think some actors did an okay job here. Some did not. But you know, I'm not going to cast everyone with the kind of the same stone here. There were some performances that were released okay for this kind of level of movie. Our main character, I guess, Lily, I think did a fair job here. Acted her kind of like her best friend, and I even thought the adult Wendy was fair as well. So there are some okay performances. These type of films, they're normally sort of shot over a weekend, low budget, only ever one or two takes. So you know, you get what you get with these sort of films. But let's talk about what doesn't work. I mean, this is just like a cookie cutter English public domain slasher that we have seen dozens of at this point. And, you know, it has all the tropes, you know, it has a couple of things here which is meant to make it believe it's not in England. You know, oh, we've got a girl who's studying at Harvard. Someone mentions that some of the killer's getting the lethal injection. We don't have that here. Things like that. We've got a character doing a hilarious American accent. Because, you know, so there's all those kind of typical things. And like I say, it is, these films have always got just a group of women being chased around, and there's never a male lead in these movies. You know, it's just such a typical movie. But to give you some more context, and this is fairly typical of it as well, even at the kills here, they're all kind of off screen, like, or they'll be obscured somehow, so we don't have to kind of like have kind of on-screen deaths and VFX. There's one where someone gets their head run over, but outside of that, really, it's all sort of like pretty much off screen, like someone gets chainsawed, and we don't see that happening, but we'll see the Hook character going ha 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 ha, holding the chainsaw with blood squirting up. So that's kind of what you'll get in regards to the sort of the deaths here. Very, very uninspired. There's some sort of silliest sort of story points here. We have a prologue which looks like it was reshoots because they've cast someone as younger versions of some of these characters, and the guy that they've got to play Hook looks older than the guy in the kind of the current timeline, which is meant to be 18 years later. Why not just use the same character, or the same actor? Probably because it's reshoots, I would imagine. You know, so it's silly. We have this kind of group of girls, and this Hook, who is this disfigured guy with just, you know, a hook for a hand. He's not a pirate or anything. He's just some dude, and he magically is able to go in this house and remove everyone's mobile phone without anyone noticing. Things like this. You know, these girls have these kind of like these typical kind of bitchy fights, so that it takes up the running time with like these sort of characters, and they're all sort of just meat grinder, cannon fodder, basically. It's a sort of a very sort of silly movie in the fact that, you know, I do think it's sort of squandered its one interesting idea where the character of Hook actually doesn't realise the Lily is actually his biological daughter, which I actually think could have been an interesting concept where it gives this character some nuance and kind of think, okay, well, what am I going to do now? You know, how is this going to kind of change the plans? And they sort of address it slightly, but there's nothing of substance with it. It's really just, you know, okay, well, that's introduced to the character of Hook towards the end of the movie, and pretty much carries on as the rest of the movie as normal. But I think that could have been an interesting thing where we have, you know, a serial killer who is now having to kind of deal with the fact that he's actually a father. Could have been an interesting idea. Nothing is done with it. I mean, why is this guy even killing this girl's friends? I mean, in the kind of the prologue, you know, he's killed Tiger Lily and James, I think, because he's obsessed with Wendy. And okay, that's the reason why he's done that, because he was on drugs, and that, you know, he was obsessed with Wendy, and they were kind of getting in the way. Got it. So that's why he's done that. But then why kill all this Lily's friends? It just seems like you're making a life more difficult for yourself. It doesn't really matter. This is a low budget slasher movie. This is why he's doing it, because we need to have some victims. But in context of the story, I guess he had reasons for doing it in the prologue, in the bulk of the movie. I didn't really feel like he had any reasons for doing it. I mean, the reasons why he killed the people in the beginning were specific reasons, but now he just seems to go and kill anyone. You know, whatever. It's a film, as I've mentioned, where some of the acting is fine, but some of it is not. Some of the kind of the delivery here is wooden. Some of it's passable. Again, I think these type of films don't tend to have a lot of kind of different takes, so this is probably the reason why some of these kind of performances are like what they're like. Probably not a lot of practice and things like this. Overall, this movie is completely forgettable. Completely forgettable. Only if you are an ardent slasher fan and you just want to consume these low budget public domain movies, at least the Neverland Nightmare I think did have some interesting ideas. This one just is a bog standard. I mean, it's got a writer. Do you even need a writer? I mean, it's the same film as 20 other films that have come out from, you know, ITN that have a very similar, you know, premise as this. Anyway, 3 out of 10 to me. This one, it's forgettable, but you know, not badly made. I guess it's watchable to a degree. Have you seen it? What did you think? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.